See me, there's something I noticed in Nigeria. When we discuss some of these things, we pay more attention to the outcome. Our interest lies more in who will win.
Right.
In discussing the importance, the advantages of the IRF particularly. We are not even looking at how many Nigerians have died.
You see.
Because of that short travel, going to local government for collation of an election and a result that had been collated at the polling unit.
Right.
So, if you had a government that was responsive, I think they would pay more attention to that vulnerability than even who wins or loses the election. They will pay more attention in terms of putting technology in place to bridge that gap, to remove that risk. It will be much more important than who wins or who loses.
Right. These are the things that technology does. And so that's why there was a strong advocacy that let everything just be real-time transition.
Real-time transmission.
Remove human discretion and intervention. Let the process be full of integrity. Let what people vote be what goes onto the system to declare the winner. That's really profound. The second part of that question, because I don't think we are done on that question yet, is let's look at the feasibility. And I know when we had this argument, which is why I was like, let's come and fight it out here. The feasibility of connecting Nigeria as a country, it involves a lot more. I was telling someone, I was like, when we were advocating for total real-time, no provision for manual, we are just 10 months till presidential elections or general elections next year. That 10 months is not sufficient. I know people might argue with this. They say NSC said it's sufficient, blah, blah, blah. Theoretically, you can cook vegetable. It is when you get into the kitchen and you start mixing that we know that can you really cook vegetable. Just from a project management perspective, I've not even gone technical. That time is insufficient. And then I guess that begs the question of what has INEC been doing since the last election?
I'm not a tech person, so I really don't know so much about tech. But I've read opinions, particularly the opinion of the Nigerian Engineers Council.
Society of Engineers,
that said that 2G network is enough to upload results. See me, honestly, I have to be honest with you. I really have to be honest. The technology tools that we have in place, the framework we have in place, they've been tested and trusted. They have been put to test and they are working, they've worked, they've been reused and tested and retested. They are working. It's just vested interest that, and that's why I talked about politics, partisan politics. It's about protection of vested interests. Well, most times or sometimes it's to the detriment of the larger society. And this was why I also told you that as a people, we should have certain agreeable standards. Transparency is non-negotiable in a democracy.
That's right.
Transparency is non-negotiable. And if you want to talk about, the challenges that the technology might pose in the system, see me, we're having this conversation because the manual system hasn't worked for us as well. Because of manual system and because of this travel to relation center, that's why you have mutilated results that if I bring to this your platform for you to base a decision on those, you will look at me twice. Do you understand? So it's because of it that we're having the conversation about technology. It's not like manual system is bad. I'm not against manual system. And that's why I talked about rules being followed. That's why I talked about our electoral rules being predictable. It's at the very foundation of everything we're talking about. It's at the very foundation of the whole controversy we're having. We don't have predictable rules. You come into election, you begin to see different things. It's no longer a contest. You are out of a contest before it even started. And it goes to the issue of legitimacy too. And if in a democracy a leadership does not have legitimacy or a leadership emerges through these shortcuts, they will struggle with legitimacy. It doesn't even make this victory sweet. Because you're supposed to be mobilizing the country. You're supposed to mobilize sympathy from the people. Some of these tough policies. It's not like we don't know or the opposition doesn't know that Nigeria needs some of these tough policies. But by the time you remember how government emerged, right, maybe through voter intimidation, through thuggery, you won't have sympathy for the government of the day. You will tell them to go to hell. But if a government emerged through popular will, right, manifestly clear, right, and on that score, I will even suggest that we'll make concession speech part of our electoral process for me, I consider it to be a fundamental, it's a reform proposal from me, because it helps douse the tension. And Goodluck Jonathan actually did it, and I thought we were going to build on that. It's a culture that we should pay attention to and develop. It's very important. Very important in our electoral process.
Can INEC enforce that? They should be enforced.
In the US, is a culture in the US. If you lose elections, so that there will be a level of agreement, at least acceptance. You might not agree, but you accept.
Right.
Do you understand? It goes to the issue of legitimacy. And this problem, these issues are foundational. It goes to the issue of authority. Because if you don't have legitimacy, is what confers authority on a leadership.
That's right.
If there is no legitimacy, you don't have authority to carry out your mandate.
Or your function, whatever.
Or your function.
You know, that's profound, because it's tough to lead people that are unwilling to follow you. So if they only just fall out of compliance, but their heart is not there.
It's not there.
It's not an easy
You're not able to mobilize sympathy.
You see.
People's sympathy.
You see.
Right? And as a leader, what else could give you joy other than the people sympathizing with your policies, agreeing with you, and knowing where the country is and all of that?
Even if it is painful,
they still stay with you, and that's why process is very fundamental.
Absolutely. One of the things I've picked, one of the many things you've said, process.
We'll pay more attention to outcome, because see, for example, Tinubu, honestly, if you gauge the 2023 election critically, Tinubu may have won that election, right? But because of the things that happened in between, people have found it difficult to accept that this guy won. So that's why process is key. This is what makes developed democracies more interesting than ours, because victory is sweeter there. When you win, imagine winning an election that you didn't buy anybody. You won just through speaking heavy grammar, convincing people. Do you understand? It's sweeter. The victory is sweeter than when you adopted all other things to secure victory. So this is why process is foundational to everything we are discussing. And for me, that's the fulcrum. That's the main thrust of my submissions here today.
Let's go to the most interesting part of this conversation, and it's the final part. Let's talk about the citizen, the office of the citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You said sovereignty lies with the citizens. 3 questions about citizens. Number 1, why should I vote if my vote will not matter? What do you think?
Why should you vote if your vote will not
matter? Should I just stay at home, right, and just watch a nice movie, eat good food, rather than stay in some very long, extremely long queue? Even my life is at risk and all of that. And I'm saying I'm voting, and then that vote will not matter. So is there any incentive to participate in politics?
Simi, let me answer you this way. The 2023 elections came with a lot of hope. It came with a lot of optimism because of the introduction of technology. I've told you, because of our culture, there is no trust. We don't trust each other. We really don't trust each other. So people believe that the introduction of technology in 2023 election was really going to reduce human activity in our electoral process. So people came out en masse to cast their vote, and unfortunately, in the middle of the contest, we had a glitch, right? We had a glitch that wasn't explained convincingly to the people up till date. It's an affront to transparency in a democracy. And of course, it will go to the issue of trust in the system, right? So voter apathy. I don't blame anybody who says that they won't come to vote in Nigerian elections, because it also goes to the issue of predictability. When you're not able to predict, before you go into a contest, the rules of engagement
should be clear.
It should be clear, and nothing should change. The prices shouldn't be sprung up in the middle of the contest.
Absolutely.
Right? So we are all humans. If you are going into a contest and you begin to see other things that shouldn't have been part of the rules of the game, it will go to trust. It will affect your trust. And next time, if you say you're not going, you shouldn't be blamed. But I encourage Nigerians, numbers will always trump whatever scheme that these guys are devising. If we continue to engage the system, Nigerian democracy is relatively young. And my worry, I'm somebody that followed our electoral reform journey right from 2011, when I participated in, and when I can tell you that I became legally conscious and politically conscious, right? It's been quite a journey, and at every stop on that journey, we have made progress. I won't lie. I admit that we have made progress. The introduction of beavers into the system is progress. It represents progress, whether it's one step, right? So it represents progress. The introduction of IREV, and I know that these tools were introduced into our system, particularly IREV, to eventually phase out the manual system. So we've made progress, but this journey has also been characterized by missed opportunities. I hold the sentiment that by now what we should be discussing is electronic voting, not even electronic upload of results in real time. Remember, it's even results that we are talking about.
That's true.
After manual voting,
wow.
right? We are talking about the upload of results. Some of the previous amendments we had missed certain opportunities. By now, the BVAS should have been continuously put to test and reuse. We have confirmed that it works perfectly. IREV, use and reuse. We must have noticed all the technical wahala that it will have, corrected them. By now, we should have transitioned to electronic voting.
Right.
On our electoral journey, because it's actually a journey. It's a journey of 1,000 miles. Do you understand? To that extent, Nigeria has made progress, but also we have missed opportunities to actually sanitize the system. Anything that will help us achieve transparency in our electoral process, any device, any tool that we can deploy to achieve transparency.
Should be deployed.
People are encouraged to vote.
You lose 100% of the shots you don't take.
People should come out in their numbers and exercise their franchise. That's the least you owe your nation. People even also cast protest votes, right? So your vote might not go all the way, but you have registered your grievance. So it's your right. You have to register it at the polls.
That's powerful. Let's talk about hardship and the role it plays in elections, right? So people have not eaten. There is suffering. Multilateral poverty was at 63% some time ago when I checked, right? So people go like, if you're going to buy my vote for 10,000 or 20,000, at least my children will not die. At least we're going to get through the next 2 days. So what do you say to people like that?
I can tell you, vote buying is the most unfortunate, for me, of all the vices that exists in an electoral process. You see, this vote buying phenomenon is the worst thing that happened to us and is a killer of the Nigerian democracy. Vote buying. What makes it worse is you don't know how to solve it.
You see.
We have very weak systems and institutions. INEC would have played a role, the judiciary would have played a role in terms of criminalizing it, in terms of enforcement. But how many people have you even seen being charged for electoral offenses?
Nobody.
And how many people have gone to prison for electoral offenses? So many laws in Nigeria. PCC, they deploy personnel on election day to fight vote buying and all of that. But see me, if I tell you that I have a solution to vote buying, I'll be a liar. Honestly, it's an unfortunate, and it's like you said, it's driven by poverty, and this is one of the disadvantages of democracy. Because democracy being majority rule, there's a phenomenon called the tyranny of the majority. You can have a stupid majority in a democracy, or you can have a poor majority. You are sophisticated, Simi, so you're independently minded, but if your neighbor hasn't eaten, she shares the same vote that you share, right, that you have as a Nigerian citizen. She has one vote as you do. If she casts her own because of her stomach, then yours because of your belief, it's the same thing. And if there is a greater number on her side, then they win. So for me, I will situate it as one of the disadvantages of democracy, the tyranny of the majority. I don't know what to tell you about vote buying in Nigeria. It gives me nightmares. It gives me sleepless nights.
Let's top this up, the cherry on the cake. Citizen participation in politics through vying for political offices. We've seen a lot of people stay away from politics because they think it's dirty. They're like, if you're a person of integrity, you have strong values, stay away from it because you're going to compromise. And we have seen very good people. There are people that do so well in the private sector that I go like, if this person just enters into the public. Now, some people disagree. They say the private sector folks come with an energy, expectation that when they bring that same force into the public sector, the system resists them. So they're unable to do much. But let's assume there's a private sector person who also has street credibility, who also has the emotional intelligence, who also has the political supportability to do well in public office. But this person is saying, I'm sorry, I want to live long, right? So how do we get good people How do we get people that are passionate? How do we get them? In fact, in short, encourage them if they are listening. Encourage them to go into politics by vying for political offices.
Honestly, I ran for election in 2019. I was a bit young, very naive. In 2019, I ran for House of Assembly in my state, Greenhorn. It was the era of not too young to run. So that bill got me very excited, and I took part in it principally. This guy is somebody I admire a lot, Itodo, the guy driving Yaga Africa. So I followed him a lot. So that bill drove me into joining the contest, right? I was passionate. I was
energetic.
Yes, and all of that. And I chose ABGA because I knew that the other political parties, I had no energy to do what they were doing, all right? Because like I said, I was a bit younger and I didn't want to open myself to the vulnerability of joining where there will be. So I had to choose ABGA with the belief, very strong belief, that the party was very credible and the ideology and all of that. So I went there. The things that my eyes saw in that party, the transactions that were going on. So it now was as if things happening there were even worse than the ones. So the point I'm making is, good people don't think Nigerian politics is beneath them because of the things that go on, the process, the things that you need to do and all of that. I don't really know. There is no way we can arrest it other than elite consensus, other than participation in numbers. There is just no other way than joining it anyhow, because I honestly believe that our problem starts from the top. That's my belief. I don't know what your own belief is. If we have a top person, you know what I mean, being deliberate about revolutionizing the system, encouraging more good people. So, Simi, I will even tell you, I'll take the question back to you. You might have people in the presidency. Tell the president to put systems in place that will encourage good people to join politics. They should remove all the vices that exist in our system so that good people will find a space to join, because right now it's as if there are certain kind of people who have arrested the system and it won't work for good people. So participation, we have no choice. I haven't given up. I gave up. After that experience, I know how much I spent. I got contributions from family, from friends. It was exciting. I was so excited. It was a fun journey for me. And I tell you, I didn't really passionately run to win that election. I just wanted to test the waters, but it was fun for me. It was a fun ride. But the things my eyes saw, you know, what the experience it gave me was, I now understand this system. Maybe if I'm coming again, I'll be better prepared, right? I'll know what to do. I'll know the things to do. So I encourage good people to join. They can join and fail, make the mistakes over and over. And one thing I notice about these guys that we're referring to, is their staying power. They don't give up. They never give up.
Of course.
They continue until they get it. So I encourage good people to join in their numbers. Numbers in democracy will always trump any arrangement, believe me, because it's about majority, it's about numbers, right? So if we're lucky to have elite consensus from the top to sanitize the system, fine, it will be fine. But aside that, they should pour in and
go in their numbers,
make the difference.
So you hear that you should participate in politics. If we leave politics to people that are less than us, and when I say less, in the sense of people that do not share strong values that we share, we will be ruled by the least of us, right? So it is so important to ensure that we go in our numbers. Lastly, your final words. Someone is listening, a young lady is listening, a young guy is listening, and they're thinking about Nigeria. They're even maybe considering just leaving the country, but they believe somehow in Nigeria. They believe that Nigeria can still work. They believe in the dream of a new Nigeria. What do you want to say to them?
So to the young people of Nigeria, you have the numbers, you have the intellect, you have access to technology to make all the difference that you can make. So I encourage you to continue to engage the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. It was such an amazing time, robust conversation. See you next week. We're going to be talking about something very topical that concerns every one of us. God bless this Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye.